made their mark in the industry. You mean in terms of value?
Asset value, yeah.
Asset value? Yeah. Well, if you have to buy those assets today,
total as you have,
what we have,
yeah,
you'll be spending close to about $150 million to $200 million to acquire their, without the helicopters. Of course, one helicopter is about $30 million, $35 million. Yes. But of course, I mean, we don't own those helicopters anymore because we return them. The beautiful thing about that is that that's what they call wet and dry lease, okay? If you do a wet lease, they will come with all the full complement of crews.
Yes.
But because we have capacity in-house, Nigeria, so we didn't come with crews. We operated the equipment. Yeah. But so with the downturn, we didn't have to, have so much idle asset that would be wasted. So we returned back to our lessor, and then that saved us a lot of cost. But initially, it was a lot of exposure to fund the aviation and run the aviation to the extent we did, because aviation is also very capital intensive. And it's one place you cannot cut corners.
All right. As my second to last question to you, as we wind up this interview, it goes to say, assuming you are now in Uganda today, will you help us develop the capacity? Will you help us develop the local talent? I mean, for some of this equipment, we're pretty much new into this oil and gas sector, into this oil and gas business. Uganda is a very young child that is coming up, that needs a lot of guidance, and that parents need to think through this whole process very well. But learning from those who have been before us, like you, Nigeria, will that be a possibility for local content, local people, local talent development? And also, how will that transform us, by the way?
Let me go back to what I said. I love the spirit of Ugandans and the government and the regulatory authorities. They're more focused towards Africa, African-oriented companies. Again, and they're looking towards more to Nigeria, because when you talk about oil and gas activity in Africa, Nigeria will come top. All right, we have developed our local capacity. We have developed not only technical, we have developed the financial muscles. We have developed even the skills from the smallest to the biggest. So we come to Uganda with a whole lot of giving back, so to speak.
Yeah.
All we need is simply the support from the authorities of Uganda to either relocate or build an extension of what we have developed in Nigeria here, with some reasonability of assurance. What do I mean by reasonability of assurance? Every businessman wants to recoup his investment. Yeah. It would be foolhardy for me to set up here, run my workshops, facilities, staff, people, different cadres without project. Because our money also
not just projects, meaningful
projects.
Yeah.
And our monies don't come cheap, or like our international partner, the counterparts. Yeah. Say, for example, if you have a UK company coming from UK now to establish in Uganda, he's running on an interest rate of 4%. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm coming from Nigeria to set up in Uganda. I'm running currently at interest of 22%. So, balance factor. I mean, how far can I sustain? So, the authorities in Uganda got to make conscious effort to want to, make companies like us here to stay. Because in so doing, they will quickly jumpstart the capacity development of their own. Yeah. Listen, I just have to say it here. Yes, that you want to support only Ugandan companies, supposedly in the true meaning to the letter. Ugandan companies means you have one Edi Okela who has a company a deal killer and Sons Limited, blah, 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 but it doesn't have anybody to support him. He's just an Ugandan. It's okay, give a deal killer a section of the pipeline to go and construct. It doesn't have the financial muscle. It doesn't have the technical knowledge. They might claim that they have the technical knowledge, but it doesn't have it because it has not. These things are not wishful thinking, all right? It's over the years. The way we are today is not the way we were 20 years ago. There are a lot of lessons learned, because one of the things we have learned again in the course of our business is what I call lessons learned. At the end of every project, you sit down with your client and have what they call lessons learned register. What can I do better? How can I do it better than if I have the opportunity tomorrow? What can I do better to make me a better company? So this has to go on for a long time before you can say, a deal killer, yes, if I give him this project, I can go to bed and sleep. He can deliver. Yes, I mean, you want to support your local guys, but you know what? I think a lot of emphasis need to be made to work with, to give companies like us that are coming into Uganda. However, there must be demonstrable, what I can call demonstrable measures and ways of making sure that we transfer technology. And these guys learn, okay? And through they got to learn, develop not only technical, develop financial. Because the more you work with me, as either a subcontractor or as a partner, and you get your money and you plow back, that's another thing. You continue to, because if you make this money and do another business, you're not going to grow the business, right? So one of the things that we did as a company is that we grew Baywood for so long, not doing any other business except this, before we began to look elsewhere to diversify. Now we're in technology, okay? We're going into media, we're going into e-commerce, we're going into fintech, and all under one umbrella of what we call the company called CBI Technology and CBI Digital Media Technology, all right? A combination of all these things is going to set Africa again on another level when it comes to entertainment, financial technology, e-commerce market, and digital media. You couldn't do it when we were just growing, when we didn't have the financial muscle. If you do it, because you need to build the flagship. That's why I call Baywood Content our flagship. All right. Most of these investments that we have made in other companies is coming from Baywood Content. That God may have it. We're not borrowing so much, so we are not really heavily leveraged as a company, right? Because one thing is for certain. Whatever you borrow, you must pay. All right? Whatever you borrow, man, be careful.
We're already having that situation in Kampala, in Uganda.
If you don't pay, then you're gone. You're done. So I don't take money that I don't need. Okay? So this is a clear message.
That's a big lesson, eh?
You
don't take money that you don't need.
I don't take money that I don't need. You have to be clear in your head that you're going to borrow 100 million naira or 1 billion shillings. What are you using the 1 billion shillings to do? Have you done your numbers? Have you crunched your numbers? Have you done your business case? A lot of people don't do their business case. They just, AD is doing very well here. Let me go join AD. You don't know whether AD has something else that is supporting that one. Because you might think that that business is thriving. Unknown to you, that business is being supported by another business from somewhere. Just like when we were doing the helicopter business. We were not making money. It was supported by Baywood Continental because we didn't have a lot of operation, okay? So because we were not able to land a big contract with the IOC, so what we started to doing was what we call sport charter. People would come and take us for 1 day, 2 days, 1 week. That's how we were running. We were not making money. We were just waiting in anticipation to land the big project, but it was being supported by Baywood Continental. So, and that's one of the things, when Baywood Continental business began to decline, because of the decline in oil activities in Nigeria, the helicopter operation was affected.
Because it had not yet built to that level.
Because we have not built
to that level. It can stand alone.
And we have done it for 8 years, waiting for, because these contracts it takes a while to come, all right? And this one service as well we can provide here, the helicopter service, because I see the distance in oil and gas. So I ask myself, who are the operators here? So these are the kind of things that Baywood Group can as well bring to Uganda, because we have had that experience over time in Nigeria.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Baywood, a man of many colors. And now we're talking about some really big things here on the CEO Bench. My name is Eddie Okela, and before we break, Emperor, we want to go back to the moment you loved so much. When I interacted with you, keep talking about, I'm a social activist, I'm a youth, empowerment driver, leader in Africa. Let's talk about that as we wind up.
Ah, yes, I'm very passionate about that.
Why the youth?
They're the future. I don't care, but they're the future. It's not only in Nigeria, the youth are the future. It's like you have a family, you have children. They are going to take over you. If you insist that your children will remain children as they are, they will revolt. And they can even plan to kill you.
Yeah. And in some incidences, it has happened.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. In some
We're
instances.
seeing that in Europe.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I grew up. That's one thing that I'm so passionate about, because one of the things that what drove me into that is, again, philanthropy comes with, there must be something must strike the chord. Something struck the chord for me. And that thing gave way to my philanthropic nature. And I began to preach it, I began to talk about it, I began to say, listen, unless these guys, we're in automation age, right? This time we're in automation age. And one of the studies I did is, why do we have our fathers and our grandfathers still as the dominant players in our political life? Our political lives. Why are they not allowing the young ones to come up? And the world is fast moving away from the old generation to the young generation, but the Africans are still holding it firmly to their chest. Yeah. And I think it's time that we have to rise up. And I started championing it. I went around Africa. I've been everywhere with my Baywood Foundation, preaching about the youth. I don't call it anymore youth empowerment, investment.
Youth investment.
Yes, you have to invest in your youth. You have to make your youth to be employable, because today, most youths in Africa are not even employable because we believe so much in certificates, right?
Other than substance of skill.
Other than substance of skill.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, without downplaying education, without downplaying educational qualifications like going to universities and everything, but I think we have to, again, consider vocational training, skill training, exposing them to the realities of life, not just stay in the classroom and theorize, okay, and they come out and they look like they are lost, okay, because most of our universities are not equipped to expose them to such realities of the world, okay? Even in the Western world, where you are exposed to a lot of, maybe you have a very well set up laboratories, you have maybe process facilities, but at the end of the day, it's modular. Yeah. It's not natural. Yeah. When you go out there to work, you see that it's a different kind of fish. Yeah. So I think the way to go for me, one of the things I've been preaching is that we need to get these youths to understand that the future belongs to them, and begin to reorientate their mind. One of the things I try to do very well is reorientating their mind, their mindset. Because who are their mentors? Who are the people they're looking up to? Politicians. And if you look at the lifestyle of our politicians, it's a bit deceitful. Yeah. It's not real. Yeah. It's imaginary. Everybody wants to be a politician. For example, in Nigeria today, if you ask a young kid what they want to be, it's only a politician. Why? Because you see them, the way they spend money, the way they live their lifestyle, the way they do things. But those things don't have base. They have no solid base. Yeah. Take them out of that political scene, 1 year down the line, you won't like to see them again. So we need to lecture, we need to talk to them and let them understand that it's a reset, mindset reset. Let them understand that even that guy who is living large as a politician, they didn't start yesterday. Honestly, for you to succeed in life, regardless of whatever area you find yourself, time, you must have spent a lot of time in doing that before you begin to reap the dividends. The dividends don't come overnight. But you see, because of the values, we have lost our values so much so in Africa. I don't know. I think we have lost our values. So the values today is we want to make money today. Okay, I told you the story of me and my brother. Yeah. If my father did not come to reset my value, I would have been gone. I want to be richer than my brother.
Yeah. You wanted to be richer than your brother, who was already rich, and you are learning
who's been working, doing business all this time. Yeah. And I just came out from school. Yeah. And I want to be richer than my brother. Yeah. It's not bad to be, my uncle said, It's not bad to be a shoemaker. What is bad is making bad shoes. Do you hear that?
Yeah, you're right.
So it's not bad to be ambitious, but it's not. It's bad to be over ambitious.
Yes.
You just have to be ambitious for you to succeed
So it's
in
not
life.
bad to be a shoemaker.
It's not bad to be a shoemaker. What is bad is making bad shoes.
Bad shoes.
When you are a good shoemaker,
Yeah.
you can become a designer shoemaker.
Yeah.
And everybody will come to you, flock to you, right?
Yes.
But when you're a bad shoemaker,
And Emperor Chris.
and everybody want to be like, and everybody will be envious of you.
Yeah, yeah.
But when you're a bad shoemaker, you know what people do? Ah, that man, leave him. He don't know anything what to do.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing. Forget him. But when you are now a good shoemaker, you begin to export. Yeah. You become everybody's darling, and people want to emulate you.
Yeah.
So, I tell you something. It's good to be ambitious, but it's not good to be over ambitious. Wow. Because when you're over ambitious, you might do that one that might land you in jail so quickly. Yeah. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
that will be the end of you.
Then that will be the end of you. So it's one step at a time. Johnny Walker. Yeah. Johnny Walker says, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. Yeah. But you know what? That step does not guarantee you are going to reach to that destination. Yeah. Continuous walking will ensure you get to that stage. So I think that as we grow older, we must encourage our young people, reorientate them, reorientate their values, reset their value set, their value systems. Yes. So that they see
the value belief system.
The value belief system, so that they begin to see that there's dignity in labor. A good number of us don't believe anymore in dignity in labor. All right, they just want to. Maybe people trying to, leave the country, either they're crossing one blue ocean or crossing one dry desert to get to the so-called promised land. Who says it's a promised land? So our leaders, again, need to make our environment very conducive for our young ones. Yeah. And then if you don't have any nation without young people, it's a doomed nation. Yeah. And Africa is so proud to have this young burgeoning population. What do? You have to make conscious effort. Like I keep telling them, we wrote a book, Baywood Foundation. It's called Beyond Rhetoric. And we initiated something called Intern and Return. What do I mean by intern and return? When you train these young lads and give them opportunities to be interns in various locations, okay? And government sets aside what they call internship fund to pay them while they are doing the internship in all spheres of life. That is one sure way to stimulate their knowledge, stimulate their appetite, and begin to see things differently. So, and it's a policy. As a matter of fact, what we ask for in that book is a declaration, affirmative action. We ask for 35% affirmative action across all Africa on youths. And what do I mean by affirmative action on youths? In other words, here in Uganda, for example, I've seen young women and young people in positions of authority. So what we advocate for is that this affirmative action needs to be legislated and gazetted and endorsed. As a matter of fact, the African Union, when we met with them, endorsed it, and what they needed was to just meet with the various legislative assemblies across the 54 African nations and see how they can buy into this thing and adopt an internal return initiative. And Baywood Foundation, in partnership with African Union, have promised to put the initial seed money to do such initiatives and kickstart it. And one other way to stimulate the youth, I said, is to have an endowment fund or prize money or prize award for youths across Africa that have achieved in various spheres of life. Because these guys have achieved. Have you identified them? Because when you begin to reward these young ones and appreciate them and consider them as part of the main society, because what is happening today, like if you would see what is going on in Nigeria today, there's almost a youth revolution because they are tired, okay? Because they're not part of the system. They're not meant to be part of the system. These guys have emasculated them from the system. They are taking hold of everything. If you look at throughout the length and breadth of Africa, look at our presidents. They are all in their 80s, okay? Are they more smarter now? No. Are they in tune with the technology? No. Are they thinking about how to move the country or the nation forward or the continent forward? No. Can they be more radical? No, because we need radicalism in a bit of things we do to change, to reset the continent, okay? I was listening to a program where some young lads in Europe were pushing for Macron to stop the ECOP project in Uganda. What do they know about Africa? So if we have a very united, formidable African Union that can come up with a very big voice and say, listen, can you even keep your money? We don't need your money. We make ourselves, we donate funds and have a pool of funds where we can tap into to develop our natural resources. Okay, so this is what I'm saying. So Intern and Return Initiative for African youth is what Baywood Foundation is still advocating, because that's the only way we can put Africa and make them to be a continent to be sought after. We have the smart youth, we have very intelligent youth, we have youth tech savvy. If you come to Nigeria today, one of the things that is raving is tech startups. These tech startups are young ones. 20, 25, 30, coming out with different, genuine ideas. All they need is a little pep, and that's what you call this little pep, like what we did in a program with Coca-Cola. The first time that Baywood Foundation ever got grant was Coca-Cola giving us $100,000 to do a program we call Youth ICT and Skill Acquisition Project, YISAP. You can go to our website, Baywood Foundation, and find YISAP, YISAP. What we do was to gather youths from all parts of the state and train them in different skills. Okay? We have certain set skills we train them in those skills, and give them, and then on the final day, they exhibited their skills. They produced those things that they did, they created those things that they did, and it became, and displayed their wares in the market, and people bought them, right? But in doing that, we gave them some seed funds.
Yes.
To start off.
Not just saying go and start this,
So
go and start this.
Out of 600 or 1,000 people that were trained in different skills, we selected 100 or 200 people that were given seed money. So this is what I'm saying. In every society, if you don't make such policies and drive those policies down, and it has to be driven by a youth, not when you set up a commission like that, you go and get some guy that's 80 years to manage. No, you got to be a youth of 30 who will drive the stage, because these guys, they're thinking differently from the way we're thinking today, and they're tech savvy. Listen, they can, when even you go agro-based, they can do a lot of things with agro. Okay, deploying technology, deploying skills. We're talking about large-scale farming. They can even do green farming, greenhouse farming. Yeah. And in greenhouse farming, you don't need even a large footprint to do a greenhouse, okay? But you produce as much, and even well-controlled environment. You produce as much healthy fruits and agro-based products than you would have done using massive agro-based. Of course, you need to do mechanized farming. But you know what? Get these guys to buy into the future, and it has to be driven by their own people. And what we're saying about intern and return is that even in the National Assembly, wherever you have somebody like a 50-year-old guy, you need to bring someone like a 30-year-old guy to understudy him. Yes. And in understanding him, you're paying him from the internship fund, okay? That thereafter is either he continues with what he is doing as an intern, or he goes out. By then, he would have made gained knowledge, would have made contact, he would have had his own network group and all stuff like that. So this is what we're thinking, and this is the way to really, really develop the African youth. And this is what Baywood Foundation is all about, championing for over 17 years. And it's born out of passion. It's born out of speaking, because I know that if you don't have a safe environment, you can be as rich as you are, but if your neighbor is not happy, is not hungry, you are unsafe. So create a safe environment by making sure that people are around you. And that's why my role model was Nelson Mandela. And that's why I love his quote. He said, it's not about how long you lived on earth, but how much you have impacted on lives of people. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's not about how successful you are. So for me, I think one of the things that I pride myself for is that you don't need to have billions to be a philanthropist. Right? I did it, and I found the secret to success. It's giving. And it's not about how much you give. It's about how you're able to get people to have a reset and begin to think differently. So I'm a proponent of that we have to bring our youth forward, both in politics, in all spheres of life, in business, but you need to train them. You need to create funds in everything we do, and we don't carry these young guys along. Someday will come, and they will rise up against us. And you know what? When we had EndSARS in Nigeria, and he was in Lagos. I don't know if you read about NSAS.
Yes, yes.
By the special grace of God, I'm one of the bourgeois, all right?
Yeah.
In Lagos and Nigeria.
Yeah.
I was so afraid of myself. I was so afraid of everything around me. Because when an eruption like that engulfs, they don't know who's speaking for them. They don't know. It's like you are one of the oppressors. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can become a target that you shouldn't have been. So why don't we nip this situation in the bud before it balloons, okay, and out of control? So there was a lot of destruction, and they were going after the rich people. These rich people. And who are these rich people? It could have been a Baywood who had worked all his life, trying to make money legitimately, not being involved in any scam, not being involved in anything that is illicit, okay? And then even giving back to the society. But my dear brother, when a situation like that occurs,
It's indiscriminatory.
it's indiscriminatory.
Because they're not thinking.
Yeah, they're not
reasoning.
thinking.
Yeah.
Everybody's a target. And I don't want to be that because I will regret it. So my position is the earlier we nip the situation on board, the better for everybody. And together we can make Africa forward and move this nation, this continent, to where we expect it to be. We can't do it. We need these guys. But we need to reorientate their values. We need to reset their values because the values is completely eroded right now. And in doing so, we need to reorientate ourselves again. Our value system is no more.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe, thank you very much. This has been one of the most powerful interviews that we've done on the CEO bench. And as we depart from here, question, in a second, tell us a joke. A joke that has ever been given about your name, Emperor, and how you reacted to it, if at all. And give us one African proverb from Nigeria.
Well, I don't know. You see, people think that I just woke up and became emperor. That's okay, no problem. But it's a story for another day. But I always tell you, if you want to know about the emperors, that's a book you need to go and read. It's called God, Pope, and Emperor. So you know the origin of emperor.
Wow.
God, Pope, and Emperor. So,
Yeah.
one thing about this Ikonos royalty, and if you want to be an emperor, you have to live up to it, right? You have to live up to it. So, I think I'm living up to my title, emperor, and I make good to say that unless you visit me in Nigeria, you may not know that I'm a true emperor. And I'm a benevolent emperor, because emperors are known for draconian rules and the Gestapo style of doing things. I am not that one. I'm this benevolent emperor. Emperors don't talk about giving back. So I could better be described as a refined emperor who talks for the people, especially the downtrodden and the young people. So that's what I should be remembered. One of the things I want to be remembered for when I'm gone is, how many lives have you touched? It's not how much money I have. No. It's not how much. Are you the biggest billionaire in the world? No. Yes, even if I'm the biggest billionaire, but how much lives have I touched? And that's my prayer, that as God continues to bless us in what we do, we have to leave our footsteps on the sands of times so that I'll be counted amongst those who help to alleviate poverty. I have to touch lives. And you know what it means to shake a young man who never thought that he could come close to you. That's mentorship, right? And they wouldn't touch you unless you get close to them, right? So you must break that barrier so that they come close to you, make yourself available, that they can come and talk to you. Something happened during the conference in Uganda where I participated. A lot of youths came to me, a lot of young ones, because of my contribution. I couldn't just carry on like Emperor Chris Baywood, but I was ready to mingle. I was ready to talk with them. I was ready to impart this knowledge and get them to be to be appreciated. And you know, they felt so happy that, oh, wow, this guy, so he's accessible. Just a handshake, how are you? How you doing? What are you doing? Blah blah blah. These things, they go a long way to helping and motivate people. So it's why I am a motivational speaker. Put me on the table there, and I'll teach the young lads how to turn things around.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, the CEO bench has come to an end. Eddie Okila, Emperor Chris Baywood Ibe, all the way from Enugu State in Nigeria, the federal state of Nigeria. We want to say thank you very much. Until next time, we're saying bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emperor, for coming.
My name is Amon Mukisa, sitting in for Eddie Okila on the Coffee Break Show. So today we're going to talk about quite a different thing always on a coffee show. Always we have very many beverages here brewing. Well, I can have my coffee right here, brewing and showing you how different methods work. But today we're going to talk about your first experience in ordering coffee in a coffee shop. How was it like? I mean, did you get ashamed of ordering for certain coffee, or did barista laugh at you as you're ordering a coffee? Today on the show, on the Coffee Break, we are going to be showing you how different drinks or beverages appear or look like, and how you're supposed to order for them in their sequence. Like, if, for example, you're ordering for an espresso, how are you supposed to order for an espresso? Today on the Coffee Break. My name is Amon Mukisa once again, and welcome to the show. So, usually when you get to a coffee shop, you're supposed to use a very simple language. For example, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, so that you get to cinch or to attract the barista's attention, or the server who's going to work on you. So if you greet them very well, of course they will react to your greetings, and the way you greet them is how they will respond. So for example, if you came so rude and you're like, hello, let me get this, they'll be like, what's this person talking about? They also respond in a very, yes, they are told to be calm, disciplined, but then the way you come is the way they respond. So for example, if you came and you're like, hello, good morning, would I get a cappuccino, a double shot to go or to dine in? The person will be like, okay, it's coming right up. But if you come and you're like, hello, please, can I get a double cappuccino to go? The guy will be like, what's this person talking about? So today on the show, on Hot or House of Talent TV, we're going to be talking about different beverages. My producer Edgar was like, I like an affogato. He fell in love with an affogato. I don't know if you know how an affogato looks like, but today on the show we're going to be showing you how an affogato looks like. Before we go far, we're going to be starting with an espresso, which Eddie Okila, the host of the show, likes to talk about as the best espresso beverage. It's brewed from, actually it's not brewed, it's extracted using an espresso machine, and then that's how you get an espresso. But do you know how it looks like? Do you know when it was discovered that this is an espresso? I guess as we're talking about these drinks today on the show, we shall be showing you these pictures. So let's start with an espresso first. This espresso, actually the name comes from the word espresso, expreme, which comes from the word express. So that's why it's called espresso. However, since it's Italian, it was discovered in the 1900s. So you get to see how long that beverage has been in existence. When 2020, or others call it 2020, whatever you call it. The espresso was discovered in 1900s in Italy, and it was discovered as an express coffee because it's as quickest coffee you can make from the espresso machine. And what you need to know is that an espresso is the mother of all beverages made from the espresso machine. So an espresso, how does it look like? I request my producer to show you how an espresso looks like. First of all, it's made in a 60 mils or 30. Actually, it's a standard cup. It's a 60 mils. So a double shot makes 60 mils coffee. Then a single shot makes a 30 mils coffee. So if you're a person who likes to take a little bit mild coffee, but you need it strong, you go in a coffee shop and order for an espresso single. So if you go to a coffee shop, for example, you've come to me, I'm a barista, you'll be like, hello, good morning, please, can I have an espresso single to dine in or to go? The barista on shift or on the station will be able to make you that cup of coffee right away. So if you need a single, then they will be giving you a 60 ml. So a single, of course, is less acidic and less like mild coffee for you to take. If you need a double, that's a strong coffee for you to take because it's a double. So which means you're going to have 230s, which makes it 60 mils. It's a standard coffee. You can never have an espresso coffee served in this mug right here. No. That's not a standard of a coffee shop. And if you go to a coffee shop, you're ordering for an espresso, my dear, make sure they're serving you in a small mug or a small cup of coffee. It's like a shot of tequila if you've taken, if you booze. If you booze, my dear, you go to a bar and ask for a shot of tequila or a shot of any whiskey, they'll give you a small quantity in a glass. That was a shot. So same thing applies to the coffee. They give you a shot and small cup of coffee, which is an espresso. So never be allowed to be served in a big mug that they're serving you an espresso. No. Always tell that barista that, whoever is serving you, that I've watched the coffee break and they told me that an espresso is supposed to be served in a smaller mug, which is around 60 mils. So that's an espresso for you, which comes from the word express, or I'm not Italian, but the word is exprime, which is a past participle of the word express. That's how the name espresso coffee came into existence. So that's the mother of all coffees. So today on the show we're going to be talking about all 15 coffee beverages. So let us know, if you're watching, what was your first experience of ordering these coffees in a coffee shop. So if you get to a coffee shop and you go to a barista or go to the barista section, from an espresso you can make different beverages. Okay, so you can have a cappuccino, you can have a latte, you can have an americano, you can have a regular coffee or a house coffee, you can have different milk beverages. You know, these are coffees that are made from an espresso. Since I told you it's the mother of all coffees. From an espresso we can make the beverage known as an espresso macchiato. You know, I was having a conversation earlier on with my producer and he was like, why was it even called a macchiato? I told him, you know, a macchiato comes from the word mac. So since it's Italian, different English countries decided to just translate the pronunciation with different meanings, but meaning the same thing. So if you see that a macchiato has like a double C somewhere, but a mac has a K somewhere, so in a pronunciation it's like literally the same, macchiato or mac. So an espresso macchiato is a beverage in that same smaller cup, by the way, that smaller cup with a mac on top. So I don't know if the producer or if our producer is showing you all these beverages, should be able to see them on screen. So an espresso macchiato should be able to be right on your screen. You see it has a small mark on top, and then it could be a single, it could be a double, but it is made with less milk. But what differentiates it from other beverages is a mark on top. As long as you have a mark on top, that's an espresso macchiato. So actually, if you want your strongest coffee in a coffee shop and you want a little bit of cream in it, cream I mean milk, it could be whole milk, it could be dairy-free milk. Dairy-free milk, I'm talking about coconut, I'm talking about soy, I'm talking about oat. These milk packages can come into packages when they're either fat-free or they have some fats in them. But basically, most coffee shops have coconut, oat as their dairy-free milk. Alright, that's an espresso macchiato if you need less milk in a coffee shop. So if you go to a certain coffee shop wherever you are watching us from, in Canada, you're in the US, you're down right here in Uganda. You know, even people go to coffee shops and they take juice. Okay, that's what you like, but man, you gotta ask for coffee. You're in a coffee shop, not a restaurant. So ask for an espresso macchiato and have that cup of coffee start your day. The next beverage that can be made in a coffee shop, or what you order for when you go to a coffee shop, is a cappuccino, which is a traditional beverage ordered by many people. A cappuccino can also come in two ways. It can be single or it can be double. So a cappuccino is what you see on your screen right there. It comes with good art, you know, it looks nice when it's on your table. These are skills achieved by baristas when they're in their coffee schools. So when you go to a coffee school, of course, it's an art. Coffee is an art. If you make it very, very bad, you're going to have a very bad cup of coffee. If you make it very, very nice, you're going to have a very, very nice sweet cup of coffee. So as you can see on your screens over there, that's a cappuccino which is served as single or double. So basically, since an espresso is served as single or double, these other beverages can be made the same way. As you just need to ask for a double cappuccino or a single cappuccino. I'm sure you've gone to bars or coffee shops. Coffee shops have coffee bars, you get? So when you go to a coffee bar or a coffee station, when you say, I need a double cappuccino, oh please, can I get a double cappuccino? A barista on station or on that coffee bar will be able to ask you, do you need it single or double? So if you need like more milk in your coffee, of course you'll go for a single. If you need like a balanced and good tasting coffee, a cup of coffee and there's a cappuccino, of course you'll go for a double cappuccino, because man, double shot of espresso is taken as like the most epic cup of coffee, because it brings out all the flavors, the aromas, I know the gist in that coffee as it is being pulled out from the espresso machine. Actually, if you have been to a coffee shop, you'll see that while making an espresso, a barista makes a coffee using a grinder, and then he presses it somehow. As he's pressing it, he puts it into a machine, or he fixes the porta. It's called a portafilter. Now we're going into technicalities. So the thing that they use to make an espresso is like just like the way you have a French press. I'm sure we've talked about the French press, AeroPress here. So the other espresso machine also has an equipment called a portafilter. So that's where they put the coffee, and then they press, then they put into the espresso machine, and then they force it out, or they press it out. So that's why it's pressed and comes with all the coffee aromas and flavors. So if you take a double shot of espresso, my dear, you're having a good cup of coffee. So having a cappuccino having a double cappuccino can help you like have a proper balanced cup of coffee. However, if you don't want a double shot, you can go for a single. So same thing for a double cappuccino. We have a flat white. I'm sure baristas are not well versed with the word flat white, and I'm sure many of them, when a client asks for a flat white, they get confused, so they end up giving them a cappuccino. But some clients do understand, and they're like, maybe they don't know what I asked you for. They end up going with a flat white, I mean a cappuccino. So a flat white is this. A flat white is a kind of coffee which has less foam. You know, a cappuccino is made with more foam. You find like 3/3 of cup of cappuccino is made with foam. So basically, if this is your cup of coffee that you use to make a cappuccino, you'll find that this is level of your espresso coffee, and then this is milk, and then the rest is foam. So that's a cappuccino. And then a flat white, you find that this is coffee, and then this is milk. So it has like less foam. So if you see on your screen over there, that is a flat white. It has less foam. However, you can use some baristas actually don't draw art on a flat white because they want to balance the foam. Making an art comes along with having a thick foam to make that nice beautiful art you see on your cup. But an art is though that considered to be so important in a cup of coffee. As long as my cup of coffee is tasting good and very nice, I'm good to go. I don't need to see your art. Art is just for presentation. If it has a very bad taste and you have a nice art, then it's not good. Since it's the coffee break, I have to keep on sipping my coffee, and you're still watching the coffee break right here on House of Talent television with me, Amon Mukisa. Today on the show, I remind you, we're talking about coffee beverages. What would you order for? Or how would you order for a beverage when you access or when you visit a coffee shop? I'm sure you've had very many experiences, especially on your first visit to a coffee shop. You don't know about coffee, you've been seeing very, very nice pictures of coffee, friends taking coffee, they're posting pictures on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, they're having coffee. You know, coffee is a classic beverage, and you're like, let me visit a shop for today. So this show is yours. You need to get to know how different beverages look like so that you don't get ashamed or you don't get humiliated as you're asking for a cup of coffee, or if you're ordering for a coffee when you visit a coffee shop in Uganda or wherever you're watching us from. If you're outside Uganda, you could be in South Africa, you could be in Kenya, you could be in Dubai, you could be elsewhere in the world. As long as you're watching this show is for you. This show is also for barista for different customers. You need to know how to present these beverages. You need to know how to make these beverages so that they look nice for clients, and also you need to know how to handle a first-time client as they're visiting your coffee shop. You know, different coffee shops in Uganda are not specialty coffee shops. So that's why when I was talking to my producer, he was like, I like an affogato, but I was like, man, affogatos are no longer in specialty coffee shops. Later on in the show, I'll explain what a specialty coffee shop is as we're looking through all these beverages right here on the show. Let's go to the next beverage. If you could go to a specialty coffee shop, this is what you'd ask for: a latte. A latte is the hottest milk beverage you could have. It's served in a latte glass, and if you could see on your screen over there, that's a latte glass. It's a long glass that's able to handle a hot beverage. It cannot be, as you could serve it in a mug, but then to be standard or to be unique from other coffee shops, you serve your latte in a latte glass. That's why it's called a latte glass. However, you find more coffee shops using this latte glass to serve mocha, to serve milkshakes, to serve iced beverages. Man, from today, don't do that again. This is a standard latte glass for serving a latte. You can never have a latte when it's cold. Or, I mean, you can never have a latte when it's mild, like the temperatures, when they're a bit down, warm. No, 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 no. A latte is supposed to be a hot beverage. So literally, you steam your milk to around 180 degrees Celsius of temperatures for you to have a good cup of latte coffee or a latte. So if it's a cold day like right here in Bukoto street, please go to the nearest coffee shop and order for a latte, because you need to warm up. It's a very, very good coffee for you to have on a cold day like this. If it's cold, you could also have it iced, but later on we shall show you that picture of an iced latte. Let's go to a latte macchiato. A latte can be divided into two. It could be a latte macchiato, or it could be just a latte, the standard one. So a latte macchiato is this kind of beverage whereby you have a mark on top also, but a latte. You remember when I talked about the espresso macchiato? It had a mark on top, but in an espresso cup. So same thing applies to latte macchiato. It's a type of coffee that has a thicker form. Remember, a normal latte has less foam on top. So if it's a latte, let's assume this is my latte glass right here. This is coffee. If I mix it very well, I'll have like this much of foam, like 1 centimeter of foam, you know. So if it's a latte macchiato, you're going to have a thicker foam on your cup or in your glass. So a latte macchiato is also served in a latte glass. So if you have less, if you want to take more foam in your coffee, a hot beverage, and you need coffee to be smooth enough, you need to go for a latte macchiato. And also the way it's made. It's made in a way that espresso is poured on top of this foam, so it makes good layers of a coffee beverage that you're going to take. So that's a latte macchiato for you. You could differentiate, or you could differentiate it for your barista in case they don't know. That's one good thing if you're watching the coffee break on House of Talent. You get to know beverages that you even never knew that you're taking, so you get to educate them to those baristas who don't know. And especially these days, we are having a lot of baristas who don't know how to make beverages in the right way they're supposed to be made. So this show is for all of you, and thank you for watching once again. We're still on the coffee break on House of Talent TV. Let's go to a mocha. A mocha is basically a chocolate beverage. So most of you have taken chocolate beverages with coffee in your coffee shops that you visit. But do you know how they are supposed to be made, and do you know how they look like? This is a mocha right over there you see on your screen. A mocha is made with chocolate. It could be dark chocolate, it could be a white chocolate. So it depends, as long as it's chocolate. So chocolate is mixed with coffee, which is an espresso, not any other coffee. It couldn't be a drip coffee, it couldn't be a filtered coffee. No, it's supposed to be an espresso. So the mixture of an espresso with chocolate makes a good blend, which is very, very, very nice to taste. So when you add in milk, oh wow, this beverage is breathtaking. I'm sure it's mouth-watering if you have tasted it before, or in the coffee shop you've visited before. So that's mocha for you. Basically, all these beverages that I'm talking about can be made both hot or cold. So either way, you could enjoy them. But basically, one beverage that's not good to taste when it's cold is an espresso, because it's standard. It's standard. You could have an espresso on rocks, but then that's you if you decide to do that. But mocha can also be made cold, so it's just a matter of the barista on station or that coffee shop to come up with a menu that has different blends of coffees that are iced. So different choices, different options you could go with on the menu of a certain coffee shop if you visit, and you'll be able to have your mocha. It's a very nice sweet coffee because the chocolate is a bit sweet, you know. When you mix it with coffee, most of you who say it's sour, my friend, you're going to have a nice blend of coffee for you to take as a mocha. Wow, here we come with an affogato. Oh my god, my producer's favorite beverage. I don't know if you have had an affogato. When was the last time you had an affogato? When you visited a coffee shop or when you visit a coffee shop? Get down in our comment section right here on Facebook. We're streaming, remember we're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube and on Twitter. Get down there and tell us, when was the last time you ordered for an affogato and what was the experience? How did it taste? Did you expect a very big cup of coffee, or you expected a very unique cup of coffee as small as it looks like on your screen over there with ice cream? So basically, an affogato is a coffee beverage made with ice cream. So when you need like ice cream and you need your strong punch of coffee, please go for an affogato. However, an affogato is no longer much sold into specialty coffee shops. Now here's how I explain a specialty coffee shop. A specialty coffee shop is that kind of coffee shop that has transitioned or like moved away from making Asian beverages the way they were used to be made, like an affogato. Since someone needed to take an ice cream with coffee, they just had to get their scoop or get their get their ice cream, let it be any flavor, vanilla, chocolate, whatever flavor you have, and then top it over with espresso. That's an affogato. So the mixture of an espresso with the vanilla ice cream, the chocolate ice cream, the strawberry ice cream makes a good blend of coffee. So specialty coffee shops were like, no, we don't need to go on with this ancient way of making coffees like an affogato. We need to find a better way of improving these coffees. So they decided to go for coffees that are well blended. They come up with different flavors and then make them in huge amount. For example, you could take a cappuccino milk